Yes, my friends. In the last few hours, we received some news that left some fans thoughtful. The Philadelphia Eagles ended up losing a player to the Packers, and we need to talk about it. I'll tell you all the details in a moment. But first, I want to ask you a question. Do you think Jalen Hurts should stay with the Eagles for next season? If yes, smash the like button hard and write #StaysHurts. If you think it's time for Hurts to leave, write goodbye. In my opinion, he should stay and help us a lot next season. Unfortunately, we didn't make it to the Super Bowl this year, but next year we'll go with full force. All right, let's get to what matters. The Eagles' quarterback experiment with Kyle McCord is officially over, and it ends not with a dramatic flourish, but with a quiet exit to Green Bay. The former Ohio State and Syracuse quarterback, taken by Philadelphia in the 6th round of the 2025 NFL Draft, has signed a reserve tranche futures deal with the Packers for the 2026 season. It's a move that quietly closes a chapter the Eagles once hoped could turn into a surprise success story, much like what they experienced the year prior with Tanner McKee. But this time, the factory didn't produce. Philadelphia was hoping McCord could replicate the trajectory of McKee, another Day 3 draft pick, who showed promise and made the active roster as a backup. The vision was clear. Draft a young quarterback late, develop him into a reliable QB2, and possibly flip him for mid-round capital in the future. That model worked with McKee, so why not try again? From the beginning, though, McCord's journey with the Eagles never felt like it was on solid ground. His preseason performances were shaky at best. Completing just 42.9% of his passes across 3 games for 191 yards, a single touchdown, and 2 interceptions, McCord looked uncomfortable, rushed, and unsure of his reads. His decision-making lagged, his accuracy was off, and there was a clear gap between what the Eagles hoped he'd become and what he actually showed on the field. Despite technically outperforming Dorian Thompson-Robinson during training camp, McCord never inspired confidence. Instead, the Eagles chose to bring in Sam Howell, who now slots in as the 3rd quarterback behind Jalen Hurts and Tanner McKee. That decision sealed McCord's fate, landing him on the practice squad and, ultimately, off the roster entirely. The intent behind drafting McCord was straightforward. The Eagles believed that if McCord could prove himself to be at least a capable 3rd-string quarterback by 2025, it would give them the flexibility to move McKee for a mid-round draft pick. But once McCord struggled, that entire equation changed. It's difficult to justify moving a player like McKee, who has gained real value over the past year, without a viable successor in the building. Now, the Eagles are facing some tough decisions at the quarterback position. Jalen Hurts remains the unquestioned starter, locked into his role as the face of the franchise. But behind him, things are murkier than they've been in recent years. Tanner McKee's name continues to pop up in off-season trade chatter, and his solid preseason and developmental progress make him a legitimate target for QB-needy teams looking for upside. If an offer comes in for a mid-round pick, it's something Howie Roseman might seriously consider. That leads to the looming question: would the Eagles feel comfortable moving McKee and entering 2026 with Sam Howell as the backup? Howell, who started significant games for Washington, has a more extensive NFL resume than McKee, but comes with inconsistencies of his own. The Eagles liked him enough to bring him in once, and if McKee is dealt, it wouldn't be surprising to see the team re-sign Howell as insurance. But if that happens, all eyes will turn to the draft once again. Howie Roseman has shown he's willing to take shots at quarterbacks late in the draft. And if McKee is moved, it's almost certain Philadelphia will select another quarterback this April. That pick, where it comes and who it is, could quietly speak volumes. Is the front office preparing for a future without Hurts? Is it merely depth and competition? Or is it a hedge, a subtle recalibration of the quarterback depth chart? Whatever the case may be, the McCord experiment now serves as a reminder that not every Day 3 quarterback becomes a steal. The Eagles tried to bottle lightning twice, And this time, the storm never came. McCord showed flashes in college, especially after transferring to Syracuse, where his arm talent and composure under pressure hinted at potential. In Philadelphia, though, that version never materialized. He was always a step behind, never quite in rhythm, and the game seemed too fast for him. As the Eagles shift their focus toward retooling their quarterback depth once again, the takeaway is clear. The plan was sound, but the player didn't deliver. With McCord now in Green Bay, the Eagles must decide if they're comfortable keeping McKee and trusting him to develop further, or cashing in now while his stock is high. If they do the latter, the pressure is back on the front office to find the next quarterback in waiting, whether that's Sam Howell, a rookie from the 2026 NFL Draft, or someone else entirely, and that opens up an even bigger debate. With all the investment in Jalen Hurts, the contract, the system, the leadership, should the Eagles still be using picks on developmental quarterbacks each year, or should they be focusing elsewhere and locking in their depth with proven veterans? The answer to that might depend on whether the Eagles see Hurts as their long-term, unquestioned quarterback, or if they still feel the need to build in fallback options, just in case. For now, McCord's departure raises more questions than answers, especially as the Eagles stare down another offseason filled with QB evaluations, roster maneuvering, and the ever-present demand for value at every position. What do you think about the Eagles letting Kyle McCord walk and how it impacts the quarterback room going forward? Because letting McCord go doesn't just affect the third quarterback spot. It potentially changes the entire structure of the Eagles' depth chart behind Jalen Hurts. And let's be honest, while Hurts is the locked-in starter, he plays a physically demanding style that always puts a premium on having a reliable backup. That's what made the idea of developing McCord internally so appealing. A young, cost-controlled quarterback who could grow in the system and step in when needed? That's the kind of strategic asset every front office covets. Instead, the Eagles are now back in a familiar position, having to reevaluate their backup situation with no clear long-term answer behind Hurts. Sam Howell offers experience, but he's far from a surefire QB2. He's shown flashes of potential, but also some erratic decision-making. If McKee is traded, Howell could be thrust into a much bigger role than anyone originally anticipated. Unless, of course, the Eagles dip back into the draft, and that's another concern. If the Eagles end up drafting another quarterback this April, fans will have to ask, are these late-round QB flyers truly part of a calculated plan, or are they just swings in the dark hoping to strike gold again like they almost did with McKee? Because now, with McCord out, it's clear that not every pick is going to hit. It's not just about depth, it's about stability. And right now, behind Jalen Hurts, the Eagles don't have it. Do you think it's time for the Eagles to stop drafting quarterbacks late and start investing in proven backup talent?